Hello, welcome back to Out on the Line podcast. And this week we're going to do something a little different. We're going to kind of go back, as it is the end of the year. We're going to kind of go back and talk about some things that either we wish we listened to, wish we talked about on the podcast, things that we wished you would listen to that maybe we didn't talk about on the podcast. Just kind of a wrap up episode, tying off a few loose ends, maybe, and perhaps coming up with some ideas how to start off next year, as there is always kind of a dearth of content to pick from with that. As always, I'm joined by my co-host Alex. How we doing this week?
But I've been for Cotton Eye Joe. I've been married a long time ago. Ready to podcast, ready to go. How are you doing, Jeff? I'm great.
So I kind of went into this, and we were talking about it before the show. I kind of went into this. I picked a lot of albums that I have a couple of them I've listened to, and I think people should really kind of get ahead of things because I think they're going to do really well, or they already are doing really well, and maybe you missed them. And then I picked a bunch. The majority of the ones I'm going to talk about are ones that I wished that we had listened to and done on the podcast. So you had a slightly different approach. Kind of how did you think about doing this?
Yeah, I kind of approached it as albums that I listened to that made it into my rotation, featured like pretty heavily, as recommendations for things the viewers may have missed. And I love that contrast, that we're going to talk about some stuff that we should absolutely hit when we hit that dry period that another YouTube channel has coined as "fuck you, it's January, nothing's coming out, nothing's happening." Versus some stuff I listen to a lot and would like to recommend to people in like brief pitches. I'm going to kind of like briefly pitch them to you, and hopefully it sells some other people on them.
So there is one album that I'm very curious if you listen to, because I have received this album through osmosis. That wife of the pod has absolutely been tearing up and consuming this album. And it's the album Addison by Addison Rae.
No, I have not listened to this.
Okay. So we have done a lot of pop albums on this show. Okay. This album is absolutely one I think we should do on this show. Now, I'm not sure that it needs the extra shine or anything like that, but for folks not familiar, Addison Rae started on TikTok, I guess, just doing like the trendy, like the dances, like that kind of stuff, and then took a shot at doing pop music. And I think a lot of people, myself included, was like, okay, I mean, it's not the first time a celebrity has decided to just make a pop album. Like, athletes do it,
Paris Hilton did it.
Paris Hilton did it. There's like, this is not unprecedented that this sort of thing is happening, right? But that was as far as I cared about it. And then somehow, I'm not sure how, I think the song Diet Pepsi came across wife of the pod's radar, and she loves that song. And then obviously went through and listened to the album when it came out and loves the album. And the album is nominated for Grammy. Addison Rae's up for Best New Artist. I think it's certainly one that in the first part of next year is one that we should do.
I think it would be very easy to be very cynical about like, oh, the TikToker made a pop album. But for the very reasons that we laid out, specifically, if Paris Hilton did it, then I have to give Addison Rae a shot, because Paris Hilton gave her the benefit of the doubt and hers sucked. Addison Rae can't do worse than that. If we can have our reality heiress go out there and make a wild swing, why doesn't Addison Rae deserve to stand a chance?
It's honestly, I don't want to like poison the well or try to paint things before you get a chance to listen to it, since we're going to talk about it. It's good. Like she went full on, she went headfirst into it. And I think there's a level of commitment that you recognize to, if you want to call it a bit, I can't think of a better word for it. There's a level of commitment to the bit of being a pop star that is just, it's undeniable with that album. And I think it's something we should certainly do.
Okay, I'm down to suspend my disbelief and do it.
Okay. Well, what do you got?
So first up on little album catch up for things I listened to this year, a band called Wednesday and their album Bleeds. basically, like, the gist of the sound is if you took Waxahachie and Illuminati Hotties and kind of cross-pollinated them. And I hate to say this as a brief tangent, Illuminati Hotties before she fell off hard. Let Me Do One More as an anomaly. That's a great album.
Mhm.
No skips, great album. Everything since, God, I don't know. Anyway, neither here nor there. Because that kind of powerful sound that was on Let Me Do One More is here with that same kind of raw country folk, whatever you want to call it, sound that Waxahachie has. Like Waxahachie's like indie rock, but with this country flavor, that I think now has a term for its genre based on this, which is Creek rock.
Okay.
It's kind of like shoegaze, alt rock with a country flavor.
Okay.
And it sounds like it shouldn't work, but you have this really great combination of like heavy, crunchy guitars mixed in with a lap steel, and like you think you're settling into a little bit of a country vibe, and then you get hit with this like crazy, like alt rock distortion. It's not all over the place. It's got like a great unity of concept. It's got a great unity of sound.
Mhm.
MJ Lenderman, one of the like driving engines behind this. I don't know if you've
Mhm.
listened to any MJ Lenderman solo or if you've listened to Indigo D'Souza.
Mhm.
He was in Waxahachie's backing band. And he's basically with the group in a studio capacity now. Carly Hartzman being the lead singer. She's heavily influenced by drive-by truckers. And
Okay.
you really hear that kind of thing in the music. It's a very interesting twist on country and shoegaze. It shouldn't work, but it does. Creek rock rocks. Wednesday bleeds. Highly recommend.
That sounds like right up my alley
I think
right
it
now.
would be, especially
Yeah.
this one for you.
Yeah. Cause I really, I'm really into the like the kind of desert rock, that really scuzzy sounding shoegazy alt rock. Like I love the band Citizen. The band Hum is fantastic. I've been listening to a lot of Tool, and Tool does a bit of that stuff. So yeah, I really that sounds right up my alley. And then you mentioned, yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, I was just gonna say it's not quite as like proggy as Tool or like
Yeah, but when you talk about that like distorted guitar and that it's like an alt country, like that's what I want. And I think I have a song by Wednesday on one of my playlists.
oh well.
I don't know if it's from this album because I think it's been on there for a while, but I'm pretty sure it's on a playlist with like Hum and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, there's two. What a great
circle
idea
back.
this episode was. That yeah, we're just did you just don't say circle back. We
Let's
don't
let's circle back and let's take the 10,000-foot view.
okay, we're gonna put a pin in that. We're gonna put a we're gonna put a pin in that. And you brought up Illuminati Hotties, a band that I kind of always associated with them because I think we did albums by them at around the same time. Is the band Wet Leg and the album Moisturizer. I was honestly surprised. I think this year, I think it just came out at a time when there was a bunch of other stuff that we wanted to get to, and we just missed it because I think this one was one, if like probably was on your list too. If you were coming up with a list of albums we should have done, this one by Wet Leg I think is one that would have been on your list too.
Yeah, I agree. In fact, I chucked it in a to be listened to playlist and never got around
Mhm.
to it. You're absolutely right. I don't remember what time it came out, but it definitely came out in a window where we were clogged. We were positively clogged up with content.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's another one I'd be interested in revisiting because I liked the first album. I thought it was
Mhm.
really clever. So
Yeah. Yeah. I think that'll be a good one. Um, no, this one simply because oh, well, I guess it's your turn.
no, keep going.
So simply because I just saw a lot about him is the artist Alex G and the album Headlights.
Okay.
And I honestly, this is the person I know the least about on my entire list. All I know is that I see every music website that I go to, he's talked about. This album, specifically Headlights, is talked about. Other artists that I follow on social media have talked about this guy, Alex G. So I'd be very interested to hear what that album sounds like.
Yeah, me too, especially because I think um it's one of these like adapt or perish situations, right? Like I don't know that I do enough keeping up with the like super mainstream zeitgeist. I don't try to be a hipster piece of shit. It
Mhm.
just kind of happens. Um, and I don't like it, but it just kind of happens. But it's not because I hate on like the mainstream. It's just like I've got my eye on like this other weird shit. It's not intentional. It's just the way my ear is drawn. So like that being said, you want to know who's hot, you want to know what they're up to. You would like to be able to participate. I mean, imagine if like you heard espresso and went, "Meh," and then just completely ignored the Sabrina Carpenter of it all. And what you'd be missing out on. Olivia Dean's having a moment. It's like, I guess I really got to listen to Olivia Dean.
Mhm.
Um, and maybe that'll come up later in the episode. But I think, yeah, this is a good opportunity to like tap into the new hotness that you know nothing about, because I know nothing about Alex G.
Nothing.
Not a
And
thing.
if there's certain versions of Alex G that people think we should listen to, like we're happy to hear about it in the comments. I'd be most interested in the newest album for sure. I think one, so I don't think this is an album that we would have given like a lot of that we would have given like a full episode to or anything like that, but the FKA Twigs album that we did, what Eusexua, I think the name of it. But there was like a remix version of that came out that I guess completely changed the album. Like it might as well have just been a new album. Um, and that sounds like it would have been interesting to hear because I remember that album being like very interesting, very inventive, and so unlike anything I'd really listened to before. Maybe most comparable to like a Charlie XCX.
Yeah, unfortunately, falling into a genre too that I super struggle with. So I'm not sure
Mhm.
that it's not that I didn't give it a fair shake, but maybe I didn't like take it as seriously as I should have. So it's always possible to do a little
Mhm.
revisit. A lot of artists are doing that. Like Summer Walker, who's an artist I have on my list, but I'm not going to talk about. I might do a mini review.
Mhm.
Had two versions of her album. What the hell is it called? Finally Over It, and then Finally Over It something or other. It's like an expanded edition. But a
Mhm.
lot of artists have been doing that shit this year.
Yeah, it's really I think it's good to make the whole cohesive album and release it and everything, but I think if you have some ideas about other things you might want to do with it, there's nothing wrong with just releasing a new version of it.
No, I agree. Krungman did that. They re-recorded
Yeah.
an album this year. And I remember a lot of people were like, "What the fuck?" And it's like it doesn't nullify the first one. If you love
Yeah.
it, that's great. This is just more to love and closer to their vision and their ability to execute it now with the resources they have.
Mhm.
Why are you being pissy about getting more of what you love?
Yeah, and they generally didn't really play those things the same way live that it was on that album anyway.
They do such a good fucking live show. That's
Yeah,
neither here
so
nor there, but
yeah,
fuck Dave
so
Grohl.
it's just there's no, I don't know. I think you're exactly, there's not like a real reason to care about people doing that.
Yeah.
Like just don't listen if you don't like it. Well, what else you got? What's on your list?
Um, okay, so I have another one by a group called Oracle Sisters. And the
Okay.
album is Divinations. I wish I could play you little parts of these. Maybe that's something I could hook up, but I don't know. I don't know for like copyright reasons. I guess maybe it's
Yeah.
not the smartest idea. Um, but this was one. It was just a Spotify stumble upon, and sometimes you get these albums. Sometimes there is a correlation between the album artwork and the quality that you're going to find. Like I
Mhm.
can look at an album artwork and go, "Oh, that's intriguing," and I'll click through that and like a clever name, and I'll click through and it'll be like 20,000 monthly followers, and they haven't even cracked a million on a song, and you're like, that could go either way. That could go either way. But in this instance, I was taken in by very attractive artwork, and I said, roll the dice, hit it. And from the word go, this thing was so wonderful. It's vibey music, but only in the sense that it uses like that same instrumentation and
Mhm.
it uses those sounds, but it's not a mindless, crunchy tunes, man. It's as purposeful as something like Krungben. Totally different sound.
Yeah.
It's like an electro, like I don't even know what you would call it. Like they use like toy drums and Casio keyboards and stuff like that to make these really unique sounds. I guess genre wise, it's the closest to something like Air or Talking Heads. There's a
Okay.
little bit of Daft Punk to it, like just a little bit. Future Islands, War on Drugs, like that kind of direction. It's very mellow, but it rocks. Again,
Okay.
something you don't think it should be able to do. A ton of variety between the songs, hopping around, like dabbling with genre a little bit. Just a really great, it's not a chill out and turn off your mind album, but it feels chill and it feels lush. And it's all this like wonderful playing with soundscapes, using all these crazy different like
Hmm.
non-instrument instruments in some cases. Highly, highly recommend Oracle Sisters
Okay.
Divinations.
Okay.
It
I
might
think
not be your kind of thing, Jeff, but the people out there, the people, highly recommend.
I mean, there's got to be some people that do like it. I mean, there's got to be some. I think one that and this is, your mileage may vary on how much you think we didn't talk about this, but specifically, we talked about Geese in the Getting Killed album. I think we did not talk about Cameron Winter specifically in the Heavy Metal album. And I think that is a mistake by us, having not talked about that one this year. I think it is something we still should talk about, but it is one that I feel like we kind of missed the boat to get our opinion out there on that one, because it was as good as the Geese album was, like the Cameron Winter specifically solo album. It's like, it almost makes you wonder, like, why'd you do the band? Like, you should have just made another album with just your ideas.
Well, so did you listen to it? Have you listened
So
to it?
I haven't listened to the whole thing, certainly not as much as I did Getting Killed, but definitely enough to like to it's certainly different. You can tell it's different projects, right? And it's like crazy that they came out at the same time, or like around the same time anyway.
Yeah, and heavy metal's success, like Cameron Winter like on the advice of like people that he trusted, they were like, yeah, you got to put it out. But I think he was kind of concerned that it would step on Geese, and like if it didn't do well, it would hurt Geese's chances, and it did the opposite. And I have checked this out. I've listened to this several times. This is like my DIY weirdo album pick, because he very easily could have gone to his friends in Geese and been like, let's make this a Geese album, or let's have it be me, but the members of Geese are playing on it, so why don't we just make it a Geese? Like, I like that he separated it out, and he got Craigslist musicians. He had a 5-year-old kid play on this album, play like the fucking cello or something. But this is kind of where I think he got to do his own thing, where it's very recognizably the same stuff that's being brought to Geese. But I think there's a little more room to stretch out in this one. And you can tell that there's a lot of generosity in Geese. You can see where, I don't mean compromise in a bad way, but I mean like you can kind of see where outside input has come in when you listen to heavy metal and hear Cameron Winter just doing pure Cameron Winter.
Yeah.
I think absolutely, like, yeah, with the explosion of Geese and how good this album is, it's on my recommendation list. So I would 100% do this one in the coming year.
Yeah, it just a weird circumstance where it was like both boats were raising each other's tide. It was just, you don't really typically see that. Usually you'll see like one huge side and then the other side is successful. It kind of like follows in the wake a little bit. They're not like buoying each other. It's just a very unique example of somebody that's very, very talented. And maybe this year, the biggest swing and a miss of us not doing this album on the podcast is Rosalia and the Lux album. And I think it only because we did do a Rosalia album, and I remember neither of us being overly excited about that one. I'm pretty sure
we did a I don't know who Rosalia.
Yeah, this was back. I think this was back when we were doing 2 albums at a time. I'm pretty sure.
Really?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah. Well, that's what neither of us were that excited about it because it came off like very forced, like it was searching for a sound that it couldn't find yet. Um, it was found on the Lux album. I'm pretty sure we did Rosalie album, or maybe I did a reaction to it or something. We did some content about it at some point.
yeah, you must have done a reaction because
Yeah.
I'm on her Wikipedia page and this rings no bells. So I think
So
that was a solo effort on you.
an international like superstar that we just haven't. So you never heard of Rosalia?
No, I mean I think I heard of this album in passing, but nope.
Okay, well, it's huge. Like she's a big star. So it's certainly internationally, a little bit less so here. But this is one that I think, other than Cameron Winter, I think this is the album that's probably like the biggest album that we normally, would typically kind of be in our wheelhouse that we didn't do on the show this year.
Okay, down, totally down.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, because it does not ring any bells. But I mean, I love Kali Uchis, and I feel
Mhm.
like there's like when I look at this Wikipedia page here, it gives similar vibes, and I would absolutely be down to check it out.
Mm. Yeah, apparently whatever the issues people had with her previous stuff is like that was all just kind of necessary to make this one happen.
I like it.
Yeah.
That album had to
Yeah.
walk so this one could fly.
Yes.
All right, we'll add that to the list. I'm writing them all down. I'm writing this all down.
Well, it's funny that a few of these are probably going to get skipped because by the time February rolls around, there's always new albums that have come out that we want to do because it's current year. So it's like this very well could be the last shout out any of these get on the pod.
Hey, it was here for a good time, not a long time. It was great talking about you folks.
Did you have any others on your list?
I do. I have a couple.
Okay.
This is one that I would definitely specifically recommend to you. I think you get a huge kick out of it. It's got more of the like they're Australian, but it's got more of the like Brit punk sound to it. Great lead singer, Amy Taylor, fucking absolute spark plug. Lead guitarist Declan Mertens. Holy shit. Crazy great guitar solos on this. Specifically want to shout out the song It's Mine and the guitar on that. To give you a sense, first of all, the band is called Amyl and the Sniffers.
Oh, I'm familiar.
Cartoon Darkness.
Uh-huh.
Did you listen to that in its entirety?
Oh yeah, we just saw they opened for Turnstile. They toured with them.
Okay, so then you went and listened to this after.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So to you, the viewer, let me ask you this. How do you feel about these first lines on the album? You're a dumb an asshole. Every time you talk, you mumble, grumbles, need to wipe your mouth after you speak, because it's an asshole, bumhole, dumb cunt. Need I say more? It's crass, it's big, it's got a chip on its shoulder, it's punky, punk. You like Idols, Viagra Boys, The Hives.
Yeah, they were excellent live.
Yeah, big stump for Amyl and the Sniffers here.
Yeah,
Cartoon Darkness.
It's funny because the wife of the pod loves Amyl and the Sniffers.
Good on her.
Like I'm pretty sure she got a Turnstile shirt too, but she was most excited to get Amyl and the Sniffers shirt.
Yeah, it's great. You Should Not Be Doing That is a great song.
Yes.
Just a wonderful album. Just a wholesome album.
Yeah. Well, wholesome in its morality, I suppose. Yes.
Wholesome in its intent.
Yes. Yeah. Well, what else you got? Because that was my whole list was it ended at Rosalia.
Okay. Well, so embrace debate, I guess. You saw Leve.
Yes.
And did not like Leve.
I did not like Leve. You know what's funny? I played golf today, and this guy, I'm not gonna like talk about, he was a white guy, but he acted like he was part of a certain kind of culture, right? That's how he talked and everything like that. No problem like that. Perfectly nice guy. But he goes to say, he's like, hey, do y'all mind if I put on some music? And being the other people we're playing with, we're like, no, go ahead. So he puts on music, and I'm thinking it's going to be like, like probably some rap music or some R&B or something like that. Alex, you put on Leve.
Wow. Well, let me tell you something. This ain't golfing music. So
And that
that's
transitioned into Mitski. And I was like, what are we doing here? Because that was not at all what I expected out of my day today.
wow. Yeah, you really perverted your expiations.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, no, I would say Mitski's also not golfing music. That's weird. That's a weird pull. This is this is an a more interesting album with some really pretty ballads and like very well done. Um, but it's more of a like a for me a production pick because so
Mhm.
much went into it. And you know, Leve, Berkeley trained musician, produced this, played multiple instruments on this, sang. Unfortunately or fortunately, I mean, she's super popular. Um, it's a it's trying to bring jazz into like hard jazz into
Mhm.
2025 and not experimental jazz or, you know, highly improvised or acid jazz, like not really doing a thing like that, doing straight up like jazz ballads. They're very beautiful. They sound great. They're well written. They're well constructed. It's a thing of beauty production wise, but it is a little bit like going to the theater more than it is listening to music. So it's an experiment that I think like pays off aesthetically and artistically, but is not a home run because you kind of have to like sit and specifically you don't put this on while you're driving. You don't put this on to get down like for vibes. You got to like get into this real specifically. So I would be curious to see what people think more than a recommendation. It's more touching on something that was popular and trying to understand why. Good for her, but why?
Yeah, that concert made me feel like I was sitting at the dinner jazz hour at J. Morgan Steakhouse.
See, and that's a problem if you feel like it's, you know, fading into the background. For me, it's not necessarily fade into the background stuff unless you deploy it in that instance. So yeah, playing it in the steakhouse, it's going to melt away.
Mhm.
But that's a bad sign if you were intently focused on this thing, which you have to be to get anything out of it. I
Mhm.
feel like seeing this album top to bottom live would be fulfilling for me. Listening to it in the shitter at a steakhouse, probably not as much. And you had the shitter steakhouse experience IRL. That's not good.
It's I really, yeah, did not enjoy that. I still baffled, completely baffled that that the Moody Center was sold out for it. Like it still blows my mind that that was the case.
It's just something crazy like 35 million fucking followers on Spotify.
Insane. Like complete, absolute, complete and total blind spot for me.
Good for her. She's talented, but it's not a bot. Not a
Yeah,
bot
good
factory.
good for her. Good for her.
Good for her.
Yeah.
Let's see. I guess to kind of power through, well, no, I guess there's really just the one left. Want to shout out Loved by Parcels. They're an Australian electro pop, disco, funk. Are you
Mm.
familiar?
Mm-mm.
Really great.
Okay.
1970s aesthetic, which you could say is kind of played out by now, but really lends itself to their music because they're doing it's a very like eclectic mix of like the grooviness of Steely Dan and the kind of rock instincts of like a Toto, and you know, they're in the same ecosystem at the same time. But then there's also like some Daft Punk, Krungbin,
Mhm.
Justice. So it's really, really big sounds, but there's also some like really wonderful low key songs. It grooves, it drives. It's a very like short and sweet and infinitely rewarding experience. This is one you can go back to again and again. Parcels, really, really, really excellent group. Highly recommend anything they do. Specifically the album Loved. I thought it was a treat. So then I guess I have a question for you.
Sure.
I'd love to run some of these by you. Um, did you listen to Margot Price Hard Headed Woman?
I did.
You did. What did you think? I did too.
I did not put it on my list of albums that we missed.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it was fine. And I think to me that's what Margot Price has kind of always been. Like I think she you need your role players, you need your glue guys in on your team. You know, and for country music, she's one of the glue guys.
She, to me, is old reliable. I always enjoy it. There hasn't been a radical reinvention or a really fresh new take, which is not to imply that it's stale or if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Mhm.
But you know, the other side to that coin is that, well, you get consistency, you get old reliable, but but there's not necessarily like huge risks being taken. I don't have a specific call out song, you know, and that to me is always says
Mhm.
something. So solid effort, consistent effort, but I was going to jockey for us to do it before I listened to it. I'm like, oh, there's new Margot Price. We didn't do
Mhm.
it. And then I listened to it and I'm like, I think that's okay. Really solid effort, but not necessarily something we need to like proselytize to the masses.
Mhm. And I think that's the like I would 100% go see a live concert.
I have seen her live and she
Yeah.
is phenomenal. It
Yeah,
was
I would
back before
imagine,
she kind of like really blew up.
yeah. I would imagine she crushes it live.
Fantastic. She
Yeah.
gave me and Dante a rose to share.
Goodness.
She was walking through, it was at higher ground. She was walking through the crowd. She had roses. She was giving them out. She handed one to me. I went with Dante, and it's like, well, we're not going to fight over Margot
Yeah.
Price's rose. We'll co-own this. It's a beautiful moment in friendship.
Who has the rose?
Now that would be a hell of a Margot Price song. Who has the rose? Bingo. Well, yeah. So there we go. Margot Price.
So that yeah, I would say fine was fine with not doing that one. And not it wasn't bad. I feel like it didn't really with and certainly compared to the country albums that we did get this year, like
Yeah.
Turnpike and Charlie Crockett I mean, I know you were a little more lukewarm on Tyler Childers than I was, but I really as I listened to Snipe Hunter more and more like that, it got better and better and better for me. It's just there were just like three sides to the coin this year for country, and it was those three really for me.
Mhm.
And I don't and Margot Price, while I enjoy her music and like it comes up on playlists all the time, it just I felt like with these other albums, especially like the Rosalia album, there was other albums. If we were gonna force other ones in this year, I would not have chosen Margot Price over some of the ones that we talked about today.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, I wouldn't have necessarily cut anything from the schedule to make room for her.
Yeah,
Fill the week that we missed with her, potentially.
yeah.
But it's the same thing. Big Thief had an album come out this year, Double Infinity, and it's perfectly fine. I like a couple songs on it a lot, but it mostly showed up. It's not like a Tame Impala, Deadbeat, or whatever that fucking album was called.
Mhm.
That dog shit. It's not like that, but it also didn't reach the heights of like Dragon New Warm Mountain, I Believe in You.
Mhm.
Um, so then speaking of a recurring guest on the show, actually, did you listen to the new Cat? I don't know if it's V or Vi, but the newest Doja Cat.
I know actually that's probably one that should have been on the list.
Highly recommend.
Okay.
Very fun. Splits the difference between like the hard rap stuff she was doing and her early, like really quirky, playful stuff. Big fun. We should absolutely do it.
Okay. Okay. I'd be absolutely that's a good one for the pod, I think too.
Yeah, absolutely. Friend of
Okay.
the show, the Cat.
Right. Alumni, multiple guest.
Yeah, multiple time awardee.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I have other stuff here that's not necessarily like household name stuff. I mean, it is to somebody. And I might just do quick hit like 5-minute reviews of these things at some point. Because it's not necessarily like productive to go through all of them now.
Mhm.
Um, but I think there was definitely, I think like to put a pin in it, we have a lot of stuff we can start the year off with strong. That's great. I think if either of us is so moved during the break, pop something out every now and then if you want. I
Mhm.
might with some of these albums because there was a lot of stuff this year that I either caught up on from last year or came out this year. And it was either like I said to myself, not a strong pod pick to advocate for, but I'll listen to this, get something out of it. I just think there's a lot of like different stuff, some very like eclectic treats that I would like to
Mhm.
kind of evangelize to people. And yeah, we'll have an opportunity to catch up on the big shit we missed. Best
And
of both
what
worlds.
would really help is if the people out there let us know in the comments which of the albums we talked about today that they really enjoyed and that they think we should talk about. Some other ones maybe that we didn't talk about that you think we should. I know there was a few glaring examples of albums from artists this year that we did not touch, we did not mention, and if that is the case, we will probably continue to do so even if you put it in the comments. But Alex, where are people going to find the comment section? Where are people going to find all the albums that we did do this year?
Well, I'll tell them because I have a very important challenge for the folks. So, right off the bat, youtube.com/C/out on that line. You may already be here, which means you may already be a winner. And I would like to sneak announce a special treat. If on this video you can get 10 comments from 10 different people, you say whatever you want. 10 comments, 10 different accounts. Bots count if they find their way in, BT dubs. 10 comments, we'll do the Taylor Swift album. Jeff and I will listen to the Taylor Swift album and we will do it because I would say it is one of the more glaring omissions this year, purposefully, because we have eternal beef with the intensity of 1,000 Suns with Miss Swift. What I have listened to was dog piss. I'd rather watch a dog lick its balls. I'd rather watch my new cat lick her own butthole. And I will listen to the album, and Jeff will listen to the album if you put 10 comments on this video. Like it while you're here. Use it as a portal to go to more of our content, reactions, podcast episodes where we review albums, On the Record where we do deep dives of an artist and the production and the story and the lore behind some of your favorite old albums. We do a lot of crazy shit on this channel, and there's so much of it for you to like. And when new stuff comes out, if you click that bell, you'll get notified as to when it has arrived. So subscribe and arrive on time. We'll notify you when we're opening the gates and the little piggies can get in there and start slopping it up at youtube.com/C/out on that line.
That was beautiful as always. One of the last episodes of the year. Great way to end it. Till next time.